What's up, you guys? This is Makanor. So for the past few days, my channel has had a sudden increase in viewership, watch time, and subscriber count. And while I don't usually pay attention to these type of things, for the past few weeks, my channel has been relatively dead with almost no views, very low watch time, and fluctuating subscriber count. Which I understand is natural because people come across a channel, they see content that they like, and they subscribe, they watch their content, and if they are satisfied to a certain extent and they no longer need the channel, they unsubscribe. And that's natural. And I appreciate the time that people took to watch the videos on my channel. So I don't know what you guys are doing, whether it's sharing my videos on forums or social websites, or even just coming across my channel naturally, but I am grateful for you guys subscribing. I'm grateful for you guys taking the time out to watch my videos. I want to talk about how I came to be, how my beliefs and perspective have evolved as a Therian in the Otherkin community over the years. And with any story of a person talking about their life, we've got to start out with the most cringeworthy parts first. So, around 16 or 17, I was in some supernatural circles online. And I had this really deep fascination with physical metamorphosis and anthropomorphic creatures from legend and mythology. So in some circles, I was asking to be turned into some of these anthropomorphic creatures. In other circles, I was trying to figure out how to become this through other arcane means and whatnot. And looking back on it now, it's incredibly cringeworthy and absurd and risky because I was communicating with total strangers, asking completely absurd things. And luckily for me, I was never in any real negative scenarios. I never had to actually physically encounter anybody, but it could have just as easily turned out for the worst. Um, One encounter that I've had online that I actually really liked and actually shaped me to some extent is an online friend I had on a social media website, and we used to shoot supernatural topics and ideas at each other. And one idea that we kind of talked about was astral projection over continents. And we were on two different continents, many different time zones apart, and we wanted to try out some experiment with astral projection. And mind you, this person has never seen how I look. They don't know how my room looks. They don't even know where I'm from. We are in two different circles. We don't have any mutual friends. We don't roll in the same groups. And that night when we was experimenting with the astral projection, she managed to describe how I looked accurately, how my room looked accurately, the geographical features nearby accurately, and for me, it was something that still affects me to this day. Um, to this day, I am on the fence about astral projection, or whether it's valid or legit or real or not. And to some extent, the reason I'm even on the fence is because of that encounter with that friend online. Um, Now, how I got out of this very cringeworthy phase of my life is some people in some of the circles I used to roll in recommended me towards therianthropy. And for me, when I researched therianthropy and looked into it, it provided something that I lacked. It provided something deeper and more significant to me. It held spiritual and psychological value. And to some extent, my um, fascination with physical metamorphosis transferred over into therianthropy into the fascination of p shifting methods or physical shape shifting methods. And for me, my fascination was into the variety of methods that were out there online. People had so many different methods and ways and visualizations on how to achieve it. And I was fascinated by the theoretical situations, the questions. What would happen to the body? How does the body change into this? Can you go back? Is there a midway point? And for me, it was a very fascinating thing to just be looking into and talking about. But this therianthropy phase of my life, I'm gonna call it a phase. Not in the sense that I stopped being Therian, but during that time, I was heavily into therianthropy, and during this phase, there was what I like to call a golden period. And the reason I call it a golden period is because I almost religiously practiced sensory shifts, tried to mental shift, practice phantom shifts, even tried out the physical shift methods and everything. And for me, it was a golden period because it everything in life was enhanced. Everything was much more meaningful. You know, going to the park and being around the trees and hearing the streams and the river just held more value to me than it did when I was a lot younger. And it was like I was reconnecting with a part of me that was lost, with something that I never knew was there in a long, long time. And it was just amazing. You know, being outside at night, it was just invigorating. It was refreshing. It was like I was in a whole different world. And, you know, like any golden period, there is a drop off. There is a certain point. But still talking on the golden period, another thing that made me love that golden period so much is it gave me a boost. Like it gave me a boost in my personality and my confidence. I was already a social person. I had decent friends. You know, I wasn't lacking in anything. But around that period of time, those physical shifts, or practicing those physical shifting methods, those mental shifts, those sensory shifts, it opened me to a different way of perceiving the world, a different way of thinking, a different way of acting and behaving. And for me, it was just very magical in a sense. Magical is probably a poor choice of words, but it was very magical to me. Um, Now, the decline of the golden period. Um, in the Otherkin community, there was a lot of division. There's still a lot of division. And on top of that, my own personal Otherkin friends and some of the people I rode with in some supernatural circles way back, I just started having a lot of fallouts with them. I started having a lot of negative experiences with my fellow Otherkin, with my fellow Therians, with other people of different kin types. And in some of the supernatural circles, it was just full of role players and it was full of people that I personally think to this day are mentally ill because they heavily believe that they actually are physically shapeshifting. And when I challenged them to provide proof, they never did. And for me, I just cut them off cold turkey. I don't have time for nonsense. I don't have time for people that are deluded. You know, you believe physical shifting is possible. Okay. Now, if you claim that you have physically shapeshifted, that's a whole different thing. You have to back it up with proof. And if you can't do that and you keep on asserting that you do shapeshift, I don't have time for you. Um, that was a heavy point where me and one of my very close friends fell out. Um, Another thing was a difference in viewpoints. A lot of the other kin and Therians that I encountered around that period of time, like it was just amazing to talk to other kin and other Therians and other people of different kin types because I can talk to people about these certain things, these certain spiritual topics, these certain psychological topics, certain like lifestyle things that we might have in common, and it was just amazing because I couldn't talk to normal people or regular people about it, and I couldn't talk to some of my friends about it. I couldn't talk to some of my family about it. So it was just amazing to talk to these people. But at the same time, there was differences, and with some of my other kin friends, some of my Therian friends, they couldn't handle people with different perspectives. And I found that a lot of the other Canadians that I came across were very sensitive about these differences. And so I would find that I would have greatly offended a friend of mine's when I never even thought I offended them. And some of the times I would make statements or my beliefs would not be rude, they would not be offensive, they would not be outrageous, but to them it would be greatly offensive, greatly incorrect. And one time I came across another Otherkin YouTuber and we were talking for a little while and I thought we was pretty good, pretty cool. We was doing pretty good as far as conversation was going. And we was talking about mental illness and I had a different viewpoint. They got incredibly upset and their reaction was to pretty much block me and kind of call their friends to harass me. And it was, racial insults and everything like that. And that just to me opened me up to, you know, what people are like. You can share certain similarities in spiritual aspects or psychological aspects or even lifestyle viewpoints, but some people are still scummy. Some people are still assholes, regardless of whether you guys share the same different community. And for me, I just started distancing myself from a lot of other kin, a lot of people of different kin types, because for me, in the beginning, the conversations would be great. We would have these similarities and everything, but once it got to the differences, instead of us meeting halfway, they would just simply completely flip out or just simply cut me off cold turkey. And for me, it was kind of like a lonely thing. It made me feel bad about myself because for me, I don't know. It's always been something that I just never really understood. For me in the Otherkin community, especially in the Therian community, I don't focus too heavily on expression. For me, being Therian is not about having a tail or a collar or ears or a leash or certain other like aesthetic items that you can wear as fashion statements. For me, I'm a normal guy. I don't need to wear a tail. I don't wear a tail. I don't wear a collar. I don't wear ears. I don't wear teeth or anything like that. For me, being otherkin is a psychological and spiritual internal thing. For me, my personal viewpoint on therianthropy and being otherkin is that it's something that enhances one's humanity. It's something that supplements what it is to be human. That it's not something that's non-human. It's something that adds on to one's humanity. It's something that works in tandem with it, like light and dark, water and fire, earth and air. It's not something to be viewed as negative or, different. It's two sides of the same coin. So for me, I never really viewed myself as, otherkin. I never viewed other people as non-otherkin. For me, we're all just the same. And when it came to the divisions within the otherkin community, I never really cared about the psychological or spiritual divisions of otherkin or factions of otherkin. For me, the general public still views otherkin as pretty odd and weird anyway. So it doesn't matter if your allegiance is to being a spiritual otherkin or a psychological otherkin. We're still weird in the general public's eyes. It's at this point there's bigger fish to fry, and the otherkin community shouldn't be arguing over what the standard definition of otherkin is and whether some people meet the criteria or not. And for me, I just started distancing myself from the social media groups and the forums and websites and everything, especially when people just started really getting into like the Tumblr hate on Otherkin and the YouTube hate on Otherkin. It's just I just started distancing myself because I didn't really fit too well in the Otherkin community in the first place because I didn't really fit anybody's standard of Otherkin. And as far as Therians were concerned, I didn't really express myself in the same way, nor did I hold some of the same viewpoints. And, as far as trolls are concerned, all Otherkin and all Therians are the same. So it didn't matter if I was any different. It didn't matter if I didn't fit the standard. I was still the same as any other cringeworthy person out there. So I just kind of retreated into my own little shell, I guess. Um, Let me see. Trying to figure out what to say next. I guess that's probably it. But like right now, I'm just simply focusing on getting through every day, just getting to the next day and the next day, and working towards a future where I can have enough time not to worry about whether it's school or work or finances. I'm just trying to get through with that. I'm just trying to survive at this point. And for me, I wish I could go back to that golden period of therianthropy that I was in when I was a lot younger, around 18 or 19. I wish. But I feel like somewhere along the line, like I just got too busy with life and I got too jaded towards the otherkin community and towards my fellow otherkin, and I just no longer bothered to delve into it. I no longer bothered to delve into shifting. I no longer bothered to delve into connecting with that other part of me, that primal spiritual part of me. I never really did. I never really had the time to genuinely devote myself to it. And there's some moments that I do have the time to do that, but I just, make excuses because I'm a procrastinator. That's what I do. I want to do something, but the mind just simply makes an excuse not to do it. And I need to get around to doing it because time is short, and before I know it, I'm gonna be around like 50 something, and I'm gonna be thinking back, boy, I wish I did all this stuff. And then I'm gonna be 60, and so on and so on and so forth. So I need to get it over with eventually. As far as this video, life is imperfect. You think you have a plan for how things are going to go, and that plan falls to shit. You think that you have friends and you lose them. And you think, as far as first impressions go, that you're not going to get along with somebody, and then you find out that person is almost your best friend. And things go by quickly, and opportunities are really short windows. And I feel like if you have the chance to do something amazing, you do it. And it's just best to appreciate the moments as they go. Because for me, I find that coming across friends is a rarity now. I don't, through my own self admission, I don't have any friends right now. I don't have anybody that I could definitively call a friend or even a best friend. So friends are very rare. And when I do come across them, they are my best friends for a long period of time, and they're almost like family. And that's why when losing them, it sucks. And that's why I'm also very wary of befriending my fellow otherkin, because I don't want to go through, connecting and talking and building bonds with my fellow otherkin and then falling out over dumb shit. That's just stupid. I don't want to waste my time on dumb shit. I don't want to waste my time connecting with a great person and then finding out we're falling out over something stupid that we could have easily talked out. And I find, as far as, otherkin and non-otherkin go, as far as friendships and relationships, as much as I would like to have a friendship with my fellow otherkin, as much as I would like to have a relationship with another otherkin person in the community, I find out that some of my best friendships and relationships are with non-otherkin people, and they understand me more in a way that otherkin don't. I don't have to worry about offending them. I don't have to worry about stepping on eggshells. I don't have to worry about whether I fit their standard of what being otherkin is, because for them, it doesn't matter. I'm just, the person that they know. I'm just the same old Macanor to them. It doesn't matter. And, I just don't want to live in some type of deep-seated stress. I don't want to keep living on edge about offending someone. If I offend someone, it's what it is. I don't intentionally mean to be rude. I don't mean to be insensitive. And I try to be respectful and honest. And, You know, if people get offended, oh well. Life's too short to appeal to somebody else. You know, you got to do what you got to do. And as long as you're not hurting anybody, so what? Um, this is Macanor. This has been a really, really, really long video. And basically, I usually like do 25 to 50 like recordings, or like I just, if I make a mistake, I redo it. And so that would happen 25 to 50 times for any regular YouTube video I upload on this channel. But for this video, I don't want it to be perfect. I don't want it to sound precise, clear, to the point, because the thing is, I don't need to sound intelligent for this video. I don't want to be concise and to the point. I want to ramble, and I want to talk about everything and anything I can. And if I miss out on certain things that I want to talk about in this video, eh. But the end of the video, I just think it's amazing how I transitioned from this cringe-worthy teenager that was fascinated with becoming, you know, these anthropomorphic creatures, to this adult that sees theranthropy as a duality and sees theranthropy as something that enhances that enhances the humanity of a person, and that it's something that has a deep, significant spiritual and psychological meaning, and holds symbolic meaning as well. And it's just amazing how I just transitioned from cringeworthy to, you know, deep, I guess. Bye.